When I tried to imagine the ideal way for this CM Punk match to play out, it seemed like a dream. It really did. It seemed like one of those too good to be true type things. I knew it had the potential to be amazing, but then there was always the risk that it would fall victim to senseless WWE booking, and even if they were allowed to wrestle before that, it might have just turned into, you know, Triple H versus The Undertaker WrestleMania type stuff, which was just, to me, that's just WWE main event style gone wrong. That's all that is to me. In the end, what we got here, the body of this match turned out to be a much more refined version of that one, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Let me first just say, it's my match of the year right now. It had stuff that I expected, stuff that I'd hoped for, and just some stuff that I was like, oh my god, this is creative effort, this is effort in your storytelling. And the fact that it had all that was just incredible to me. You know, I don't know how much I expected this to deliver, but I don't know, I was just in awe of what I was seeing here. The stuff that I expected was the crowd. I actually would have preferred a more split crowd. I think it's more interesting that way, just because I don't think that you can't wrestle chants add anything to the match at all. The point where I was enjoying the crowd most actually was where you had Let's Go Cena and Cena Sucks chants at the same time, you know, coming into combat with each other. That was where that was most interesting to me, is where I was enjoying the crowd the most. But the clear-cut sign here that this match hit that sweet spot in terms of, you know, in a big way, in terms of, you know, getting the crowd into the match. Towards the finish, the chanting just stopped. There was no more chants at that point. It was either cheers or boos, whatever, but the point of it was, there's no more smarks, no more casual fans. It was all just, we were all on the same level, just in awe of what we're seeing. And I love that. I think that's just, because I think if we had got a Cena Sucks chant toward the end, or worse, a This Is Awesome chant, it would have just been detrimental. You know, the Chicago crowd here were not into their own chants, they were into the match. And that's just what you want. You know, it's what I'd hoped for. And it was just part and parcel of the type of match they actually worked. I mean, for the most part, I mean, the start of the match, it felt like the crowd were actually telling the story almost, because what they were working, it wasn't anything that they could carry through towards the peak of the match, and that's what I always like to see, and that's why that's why this match is not perfect in my mind. I mean, what they worked at the start just wasn't anything that they could carry through towards the peak of the match. It's unfortunate, but when we got to the peak of the match, though, it wasn't Triple H Undertaker WrestleMania style, where they were just hitting finishers mindlessly. It wasn't just finisher, finisher, finisher. This was more like attempt finisher, trade submission finishers, then some finisher kickouts. It's just much, much better, much better, and it actually had me guessing this time. I mean, when the first time Cena locked in the STFU, it looked like the finish. When he set up Punk up for the top rope turnbuckle attitude adjustment, I was sure that was the finish. I was just sure that was the finish. It just had such a great flow to it. And like I said, the fans got lost in the action. Cena still had boos, but they weren't smart boos. So you know, they knew that they had done it right. That you knew that they had pulled off the match right. Then the finish. I love that finish. Looking back at it, it made so much sense that it kind of feels like the sort of thing you should have seen coming. But it never occurred to me that they would do that. And when they did it, I was just like, wow, that's creative effort right there. I mean, the WWE match quality wise, they've kind of rose in stock for me since getting to the Japanese stuff. But I was never really on their side because their creative ability just wasn't there anymore. This was creative effort, and I'm thankful for this. You know, they still have the ability to go out tonight on Raw and find a way to fuck everything up. But even if they manage to do that somehow, they can't take away this. This will always be there, and it's definitely something that I'll be watching again and again over time. The rest of the show was good, not great. I mean, when the Money in the Bank matches are more about the spots than the individual performances, I don't tend to enjoy them as much. And I'll just say, you know, that briefcase has become more of a career killer than a career maker, so I wouldn't be too excited about the results of those matches. But the show had held my interest, and the main event was awesome. You know, match of the year right now. I'll be back with the Hashimoto Shinya top 10 hopefully sometime this week, and I'm also catching up with this stuff. Yeah, better late than never, I'd say. But all I can say is thank you to everyone who was involved in making that main event what it was. Thank you. I'll be back to talk to you guys later on this week.